put on the camels. These are like huge, leather cases that the camel has one bag on one side, the other bag on the other. He said, look, all of these letters have come from Kufa. Surely I have support. And Jabir said to him, do you not know how they betrayed your own father? Don't you remember the problems your own father had with the people of Kufa? But he said, no, they wouldn't do this now. This is now, clearly they're going to support me. So he left with his family on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, one day before Muslim ibn Aqil is thrown from the top, right? On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, he leaves Mecca. And he takes with him his younger brothers. Now, Ali had married after Fatima, and Ali had children that were younger than Hussein. The most famous of these was Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah. Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah is a brother of Hassan and Hussein, but not through Fatima, right? That's why he's called Ibn al-Hanafiyyah. His mother was from the tribe of the Banu Hanifa. And there were other brothers as well that were even younger than Muhammad. And Muhammad is the most famous of them and the oldest of them after Hussein. And he also takes with him his nephews from the other brothers, his nephews from Hassan's children. He takes some of Hassan's children. And he takes as well some of Ibn Aqil's children. These are all young men now, right? Muslim ibn Aqil has just died. They don't know this. He takes Ibn Aqil's children. And he takes Abdullah ibn Ja'far's children. Ja'far, remember Ja'far? The cousin who died. When did he die? We just did it in the seerah. When did he die? Oh, we didn't do it in the seerah, sorry. Battle of Mu'tah. We're going to do that soon. That's why. The Battle of Mu'tah, he died, right? Ja'far passed away. These are the sons of Ja'far and the grandsons of Ja'far. So the Ahlul Bayt come forth. The total entourage when they left Mecca was over 100 people. Over 100 people, including women and children. Now, the books of history, Ibn Sa'd al-Tabaqat, he mentions that Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, his younger brother, went with him walking outside the city, persuading or trying to persuade him to the very last minute that don't go. Don't go. This is not going to bode well for you. And he said, and it is also mentioned that Abdullah ibn Abbas, who was in Medina at the time, when he found out that Hussein is going to Kufa, he actually intercepted the caravan outside of Medina, basically, finding where it is, and he went from Medina and he intercepted the caravan. One of the senior most Sahaba. And he is also Ahlul Bayt. Abdullah ibn Abbas is also Ahlul Bayt. And the both of them, Muhammad ibn Hanafiyyah and Abdullah ibn Abbas, are very senior in the Ahlul Bayt, and they're convincing Hussein not to go. This is going to be bloodshed. And Hussein answers the both of them with a phrase that clearly shows what he has in mind and what his intention was, and that is, I would rather die elsewhere than to open up the door for the haram to become an area of bloodshed. Meaning what? If he remains in Mecca, they'll come to Mecca. And so out of respect for Mecca, I don't want a civil war to take place in Mecca. I would rather die anywhere in the world than open up the haram to become bloody, right? And so out of respect for Mecca, but he has his mind that he wants to try to get to the power, but he doesn't want to open it up in the haram. So he goes, even if I die, that's fine. I'm not going to die in Mecca and cause bloodshed in Mecca. And as we said, Ibn Abbas, even Ibn Umar, others of the Sahaba. In fact, Ibn Umar, who was, as we said, the senior most companion alive. Abdullah ibn Umar is the most respected Sahabi alive during this incident. Ibn Umar tracks him down on the way. And Ibn Umar says to him something very profound. And this is mentioned in our books of hadith, Ibn Hibban and others. This isn't a hadith book. It's not even in the books of seerah. It's also there, but it's also in hadith books. Ibn Umar says to him, the very final thing, when he's given up all hope, he says, okay, khalas, let me tell you a hadith I heard from the Prophet ﷺ, and I've never told anybody this hadith before. You're the first person I am telling. Now, this hadith is known to all of us, but when he said it, it wasn't known to him, right? Now we all know this hadith. What is this hadith? He said, when the Prophet ﷺ was on his deathbed, Jibreel came to visit him, and Jibreel gave him the choice. If you want this dunya, you shall have it. And if you want the akhirah, you shall have it too. We know this hadith that right at the end of the life of the Prophet, Jibreel allowed him, do you want to live longer and get the dunya, or do you want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? We know this hadith, right? And of course, what did the Prophet choose? To meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't want this dunya. Then what did Ibn Umar derive from this? Ibn Umar said, and you are a part of the Prophet ﷺ. Bid'ah, you are the grandson, right? So when the Prophet ﷺ chose the akhirah, he chose for you, basically, right? And so you will not get any share of power, because the Prophet ﷺ said, I don't want the dunya, I want the akhirah. And you, Ya Hussein, are a part of him. So when he chose the akhirah, you guys are not meant to be kings. That's what he's telling him, right? You are not meant to be kings. Now he didn't say the word king, but he said, but you shall not share any matter of that, meaning of power, and Allah has only turned it away from you to give you something better instead. Meaning, it is for your own benefit that you are not kings. And wallahi, this is so true, brothers and sisters. We believe this, that when you are a king or a ruler, politics always makes people unpopular. Politics, nobody likes politicians. This is a general rule, right? Politics brings about sab and shatam and ta'an and this and that. And the Ahl al-Bayt should be preserved from that. The Ahl al-Bayt are above this. The Ahl al-Bayt are righteous and pure. And so Ibn Umar is saying, you are not meant to become kings. You're meant to be righteous people. Allah has meant something higher for you. Don't go. And so he's trying to convince him to the very last. And then he said to him, and as for the people of Iraq, don't you remember the treachery they gave to your own father? Have you forgotten? Now, the treachery they gave to Ali is beyond the scope of this class. You should just realize that Ali always complained about the people of Iraq and the problems that he had with them. But he still refused to listen. So everybody has told him it's not a wise idea, including his own brother Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, and that is why Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah refused to allow any of his own sons to go. Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, none of his own sons went to help Hussein at what happened at Karbala, because he thought this is not a wise decision, right? And the point here is very clear, brothers and sisters, and that is, contrary to what the other group says, it's not a black and white issue. It's not a black and white. It's not that you're either on this side or on that side. We are on the side of Hussein in that we love him. But we say this decision wasn't in the best interest of Hussein or of the Ahlul Bayt or of the Ummah. We are not on the side of Yazid. If anybody, we're on the side of Ibn Abbas and Ibn Umar, right? That don't like Yazid. This is our position, as I'll come to the end. Yazid, astaghfirullah, is not our hero. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But Hussein, we love him, but we say his emotions got the better of him. And it would have been better for him and the Ahl al-Bayt if he listened to the other Ahl al-Bayt, the senior Ahl al-Bayt, such as Ibn Abbas, or the senior Sahaba, such as Ibn Umar. Nobody can accuse Ibn Abbas of being pro-Yazid. Nobody can accuse Ibn Umar of being pro-Yazid, but they were also anti-khuruj of Hussein. They weren't anti-Hussein. They were saying this isn't the best decision. Nonetheless, he refused and he persisted to go forward. And when he comes close to Iraq, he sends a messenger to the people of Kufa that basically, guys, I'm coming, right? Be ready, I am coming. Now, Ibn Ziyad is now back in Kufa. He is waiting for Hussein to come. And anybody who's entering the city is being monitored extra now, right? Now, Hussein has no idea that Ibn Ziyad is in charge even. He still thinks the old governor is in charge. Hussein has no idea that Ibn Aqil has been killed. Hussein has no idea the plot has been exposed. He's in the middle of the desert. He's going there. Who's going to send him a message? As of yet, nothing happens. So he sends a messenger. The messenger is caught by the forces of Ibn Ziyad and executed. Now the messenger doesn't return. He sends a second messenger. Again, because Ibn Ziyad is on the prowl. Once again, this messenger is caught and is executed. But this second messenger, he actually manages to get the message to the people that Hussein is just coming, you had better prepare yourselves. And how does he do this? As a brave man, that he too was taken to the height of the tower to be thrown away. But the last thing that he said, he shouted out to the people that, O people of Kufa, Hussein is on his way, he's just about to come, prepare yourselves. So he's still hoping that they might do something, right? So on his way down, basically, he warns them that Hussein is on his way and prepare yourself. Now, eventually, Hussein is very close to Kufa, and it is here that finally Ibn al-Ash'ath's messenger reaches him. Who's Ibn al-Ash'ath? The lieutenant who captured Ibn Aqil, right? He was faithful to this one request. Even though he killed him, he was still faithful. He made him promise that you must send Hussein. So finally, the message reaches Hussein. And the whole episode is now in front of his eyes. Ibn Aqil has been killed. Your followers have, the main leaders have been crucified in the compound, in the middle of the city, and none of the Kufans has supported Ibn Aqil, and you have been betrayed. And the message from Ibn Aqil, flee and go back to Mecca. Do not step foot in Kufa. And he is persuaded now to abandon. Very close to being now. Khalas, there's nobody in Kufa to do it. But now the dialogue begins in his own camp. And remember, Muslim ibn Aqil's own sons are a part of the group. Now their father has just been killed. And they want revenge. And they say, we are not going to go back. We are going to avenge the death of our father. And while this is going on, another person in the party remarks that, oh Hussein, you are not like Ibn Aqil. When the people of Kufa see you, there's no way they would abandon you. You are the Sibt al-Nabi, you are Ibn Rasulullah, Ibn Rasul meaning metaphorically, grandson. You are. And